Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tommy Trials. Thomas here. So we're going to try something new. See how it goes. My ever-widening, ever-growing...
I am Tyrion, heir of an area.
Nonetheless, in my ongoing quest, is the word I was looking for, to increase the amount of variety...
Sigma's will.
...on this channel, we're doing something a little different. So I love this game to pieces. I've played a lot of it, and I'm not that good at it, but that's okay. We are going to be playing on normal, because that is how good I am. So I will try and use good strategy and things of that nature, but it's important to remember that I'm not that great at the game. But what I'm going to try and do is I will commentate in real time, and then if I remember, I will save the replay of the battles, and then hopefully get some more cinematic looks while I'm talking. I'm definitely stealing from what I've seen on the actual official Total War channel, which is something that they do in their Let's Play. So it's definitely not something brand new that I'm doing. But I'm going to be playing as the Empire because they're very well-rounded. As you can see, the initial challenge is easy.
Do not waste my potential.
I don't think
The Empire's blessings, yes.
Playing with everyone that's been added to this point, so we'll see how that goes. But the Empire is kind of all-rounded, but it's also men. Everyone else is high elves, the lizardmen, the dark elves, the rat people, the Skaven, the rat people. And Warhammer's been doing pretty well on the channel in regards to the XCOM 40K. Why the heck not? So the newly crowned Emperor returned from a tour of Reichland to find his capital Altdorf besieged by spider-riding greenskins. Having sent off the goblin threat, Franz arrives in his court to find the politicking of the Empire already at its height. Middelheim grumbles under the South secessionist rebellion is in full flow. Franz must tread carefully. A wrong move now could split the Empire asunder before his rule has truly begun. So, if you're not familiar, Warhammer Fantasy, which is what this is in no way connected to Warhammer 40K, which I thought it was for a really long time, and it is not. There are definitely some similarities between stuff like the Orcs and the Empire and things of that nature. But this takes place in a fantasy world, and so does 40K, obviously. But hopefully you guys enjoy this. I'm kind of taking a step out on a limb, so be sure to, like the video if you enjoyed it.
The greenskin threat is extinguished, sire. Yet the fight to secure your rule has only just begun. The Empire is beset by civil war once more. Secessionists hostile to your election as Emperor are trying to form a breakaway province to the south. Advance, crush them, and bring the lands back to your sovereign rule. To the north, Boris Todbringer of Middenheim, a bitter rival in the recent election, is openly hostile. A clash with Todbringer and the wolves of Middenland may well be unavoidable if you wish to unify the Empire. Plan for this eventuality.
Love that word, eventuality. So,
the Empire has ever been besieged by foes, but you are a prince of Altdorf. Greatness runs in your very blood. Make the Heldenhammer proud.
You done? I have control of the game. Okay, so Karl Franz may be the newly elected emperor, but his grip on power is tenuous. He must act quickly to ensure his rule, to secure his rule, I can read, against those who would see themselves elected in his place. The leadership of Franz's army, so, if you don't... Mission issued. Defeat an army belonging to the following factions. So if you don't know how a Total War game works, let me bring you up to speed. So the majority of the game takes place on this, which is a turn-based gameplay. So very much like XCOM 2, this takes place in a turn-based situation. So we'll do our turn, and then the rest of the people everywhere will do their turns. And there are regions which are controlled by the main capital. And so you've got Altdorf. And in this particular game, you've got regions that have specials, commandments for the Empire that you can use. But we are going to just leave that alone for now. But there's Altdorf, and so we need to take Grumberg, Eilhart, and Helmgart. That would be... Although, I mean, if we're pronouncing it properly, it's probably pronounced Eilhart and Helmgard. Because these are German type things. And I do know that Isengard, spelled in German, is Isengard, so I don't know how it's pronounced. Somebody tell me in the comments. But what we were going to do is we're going to set to upgrade this. As you can see, there are benefits from upgrading our buildings. Get extra income, extra public order, improved tower projectiles, growth, income, and things of that nature. I'll try and touch on things as we go, trying not to bore people who know how the game works, while also getting people up to speed. But
Bring me to my men.
what do we have? We've got some swords. Can we get any regiments of renown right out the gate? We cannot. After one of your lords reaches this rank. Perfect, I knew that. I could recruit some soldiers before I go up.
I refuse.
This army is
I
gonna
command
be
here.
fairly easy to take. So as you can see, we can see our movement range. So this is how far that we can move in the turn. There we go. I didn't want to actually let go.
Now.
And then if you select outside of that, you can start to see where the red is the next turn. And then if we keep going, it'll change colors again to the blue. And then if we keep going, it'll change to a different color of blue. And then, and that food means that we're going to be taking food from people. Of course, you want to make sure that your province is happy. So income, public order. If public order goes down far enough, so you can see at the current rate there will be a rebellion in 23 turns. So if there is a rebellion, you have to fight the rebelling army that has risen up against you. Currently, the buildings that we have, you can build buildings. Each building gives you some positives. Similar in some sense. If you're an XCOM fan watching this for the first time and you're not familiar with Total War, you can build particular rooms inside of the Avenger in XCOM 2 or inside your base in XCOM Enemy Unknown or anything similar to that. You get benefits for each building, things of that nature. Sometimes there's some negatives. Right now we've got some handgunners, crossbowmen, some Reichsguard, spears, halberds. You can see how much money that we're paying. We're paying this army 1,171 pieces of gold. Sorry. Do we have a name? Is it just gold? Do we call it dollars or? It doesn't tell us. Okay. And there's other things that we can do on the map as well, like diplomacy. So you can see that their relationship to us, whether or not we can trade. So I'm going to try really quick.
It is good to see fellow sons of the Empire this day.
Gonna see if we can't get some trading going on.
Sigmar's will.
There we go. As you can see, doing particular things helps. We've got a treaty with them because we're trading technology, things of that nature. So we're trading
The Empire. Surely an agreement will be reached. But are we not all sons of Sigmar? So be it.
You're saying surely an agreement can be reached, but
yes. By Sigmar's will, come in peace. On it.
Trade. Okay. So all these trades are going to get us a little bit of extra income.
All right.
By Sigmar's will, come in.
All right.
Cool.
I am the blood of
Do you wish the
Bretonia?
lady's favor?
short-sighted.
No. I'm gonna try again.
By my lady, no.
This is fair.
Kislev.
Kislev.
My glacial
want to
majesty,
trade?
Kislev.
Yeah, okay. Nonetheless, that got us some trade. So as you can see, our income went from, I think it went from like 17 to 19 because we're getting a little extra in trade. You can see we're getting 226 gold in trade. Right now, the only thing that we're paying, if we take the tiny little predicted income, we're getting almost 400 gold from taxes, 2,500 gold from just the income of the town, and then 226 from trade. So we're getting an income of 3116, but we're spending this amount for these guys. So we are going to just immediately take on.
Men, we must
helmet.
attack.
Let's see how this goes. So now this is the other part of a Total War game, and this is the part that a lot of the Total War YouTubers that I watch, they do. They just do the battle part. They don't typically do campaigns. And like I said, we'll see if this becomes a series or whether this becomes a tiny little short series where it's about 2 episodes and then I realize no one's watching it. But we are attacking Empire Successionists, and this is our balance of power. So yellow is me, obviously red is them. And then this little stripy part, from what I can tell, is kind of the wishy-washy that the computer gives us. So it could go either way. So it could be all the much as we have this much, and it could be that they have that much. As far as I understand, that's how it goes. So we're going up against 240 swordsmen, 240 spears, and 90 crossbows being led by the General Helmut Lundenhoff. And Karl Franz is coming in with a very wide range. This particular fight is going to require a little bit of strategy, because if we just form a line and try and take them on, they're going to out-melee us. So that would be foolish. But let's go ahead and fight this on the battlefield. So this is where we go from turn-based combat to real-time. So now we've completely abandoned turns for real-time. So this is something that XCOM never does. It's always turn-based. So it's super exciting. So we will see. It's going to require a little bit of strategy. I would have preferred to have gone into this fight with more swords, preferably. But we'll take a look at our units real quick, and I'll kind of explain in very simple detail some pros and some cons. Also remembering that I'm not a pro at this game at all. But our generals specifically, they're tanks. Now, depending on what kind of a general you have, they may be better at melee combat and they may not. There are wizard generals that are much better at staying back and casting. There's also captains and wizards that aren't generals. Things of that nature. There's some, like I said, pros and cons to a lot of stuff that we're going to take a look-see at here. So, like I said, hopefully I'll remember to record. Let's take a look at our units here. So we've got our swordsmen. So one thing that's important to take a look at immediately is that these guys have shields. So anybody that has shields, they have a chance of blocking arrows, bolts, rifle shots, and similar small arms from fire, but only in a forward-facing arc. So if you're getting shot in the back, you're screwed. Reiksguard are armored and shielded, so armored units can block damage from any source apart from armor-piercing damage. Shields have a chance of blah 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 blah.
Conditions acceptable!
Just good range. Got our halberdiers. So they've got charge defense against all. So when standing and bracing against a charge, this unit will negate the enemy's charge bonus. Anti-large units have an advantage against targets that are at least as large as a horse. This advantage can be a damage bonus against large targets or an attack that focuses on a very small area. However, some units are simply better against large targets because their attacks are slow and easy to dodge by skilled melee combatants. Armor piercing. So, just as a look-see, if I had halberds, they would be a nice counter to my Reiksguard. Spears are anti-large, and they have a charge defense against large foes. So take a look-see. My default spears have no shields, and neither do my halberdiers. So if we were taking arrow fire, that would just be something that they're just taking damage. They're losing hit points. So as you can see, each group has hit points, and then a model count. So there's 120 men currently. They have 8,000 hit points. Karl Franz is one guy, but he has 4,000 hit points. So kind of a look there. There are tactical benefits to the field as well. So when I get close, the trees, their leaves will disappear. When I'm far away, they'll stay in. So I've actually got the tree graphics turned way down. I'm hoping that these guys move towards me. Odds are they probably won't. But I'm going to try and capitalize on my hill place them in here.
Sigmar's heirs!
So
Halberdiers!
there's not really any large foes, so I'm just going to take my soldiers and kind of position them like that. Put Karl Franz right in the front here. He's armored, so he's also a duelist. This unit is best used to attack individual targets such as lords or heroes, as it can only damage very few individuals at a time. It is not suitable against hordes of weak enemies, which is exactly how I'm going to use him in this particular battle.
Ready to fire!
I'm going to take my crossbowmen and I'm going to place them behind, hopefully giving them a good vantage point over this hill here. And then I'm going to take my handgunners and position them here. The plan is, and we'll see how it goes, but the plan is these guys will charge up, and if someone charges over, then my riflemen will just take shots, pot shots, and if not, I will bring my riflemen around, my handgunners around, so that they can fire in the back. I'll also probably eventually do the same with my handgunners. And then I'm going to pull my Reichsguard over here so that they can hopefully move around and flank. So we will see how that goes. They are going to move up.
Sir!
So I'm going to move my Reichsguard
Formation
around.
march! Take aim!
So as you can see, they're going to have to charge up this hill under the fire of my crossbows. Hopefully they keep moving forward. Just moving in pretty good order. Their swordsmen, of course, do have shield bonuses.
Handgunners! Formation march!
Okay, so they are already shooting. That ain't great. My crossbows should return fire soon.
Reichsguard knights!
Move my Reichsguard up. Crossbows are taking shots. Guns are taking shots as well. Now, thankfully, the crossbows are hitting my shields. Which isn't the best idea ever. Do my crossbows... Handgunners.
By Ulrich's wrath!
We've got a group of swordsmen charging the handgunners. So I'm going to send my men down.
Spearmen! Sigmar calls! For Heldenhammer!
Alright, now I'm going to pull these guys down. My Reichsguard,
Fight for France!
we're kind of hiding out.
What does the target?
Pull my handgunners around.
We are Sigmar's heirs!
So my Reichsguard should be able to deal fairly hefty
The
damage.
Empire endures!
I'm going to have my handgunners turn around and fire right into their backs.
Crossbows ready, General! Sigmar calls!
I'm going to see if I can't get
No!
Franz pulled through.
Die, traitor! Whoa!
Just gonna have to fight. Oh, ay, ay, ay. So these handgunners shooting right in the back. So this is another function of the game is if they get low enough, their leadership's actually going to fail, and they're going to rout. Now, routing units can return to combat.
Crossbowmen! No
Shattered units cannot. Now, you can send your units after a routing unit to potentially keep them turning. I think this captain's about to rout. He did.
Take aim! Shoot
Let's see
them!
if my gunners can rout. I'm gonna put my Reichsguard down. And oh, the swordsman returned for a second. That was foolish. They're just getting mowed.
The gods have abandoned us!
Right, and there's victory. So everyone's shattered. So at this point, we have the option. I'm going to let my crossbowmen and my Reichsguard just mow. Ow. My men are going to reform. My
We are Sigmar's heirs!
Halberdiers will be taken immediately.
Quick!
swordsman. So at this point, I have the option to take guys out. I believe at this point, taking guys out counts as capturing them, not killing them. So there's a little...
Missiles will fly! Understood! Ulrich's teeth! Retreat!
Alright, so we're gonna end the battle. Decisive victory. Saved replay. I was holding on the S key. First battle. There we go. So, at a later time, I'll record that, not talking, and hopefully put in a few little snippets. So we deployed 601 men against a secessionist army of 571. We did lose 115 good men, but we took out 401 traitors. So, all in all, pretty good victory. The only unit that really took a beating was the halberdiers, because quite frankly, I put them in a fight that they weren't prepared for. The only reason that unit survived at all is because I flanked around with those handgunners and started shooting bullets into the backs of my enemies. Now, you do have to be careful. Friendly fire does exist. Now, for the most part, you're okay, especially in this game, but in other games, you can do as much damage as good by shooting arrows and whatnot. That's why I flanked, because either men won't have a good sight line and they won't fire because their line is compromised, or they'll end up shooting your guys. And sometimes if you're doing volleys, you hit whatever, so you can hit your men, you can hit their men. 50-50 chance. That was my Discord, not your Discord, just so you know. Sorry about that. Okay. Decisive victory. So now we have the option to do one of three things. And I don't think that we are always able to take on captives. I really don't know. But I know that we can pardon captives or execute them. So, you can allow these warriors, and this is the only time that I'm going to read through these. This episode is a big introduction as compared to everything else. You loot as well. I think the amount of money that we have just went up because you just get a loot from the battle itself. But we can pardon the captives, so allow these warriors to return to their homelands for ransom. Despite digging into their treasury, the enemy will appreciate such a deed. We get almost 300 extra gold. Your army will gain the following effects. Pardon captives. Men are reluctant to join the ranks of the army, so the casualty replenishment rate is actually negated by 5%. Leave no captives alive. The foe and their allies will not look upon you kindly, but their enemies will respect your decision. Your army will gain the following effect for 5 turns. We will have +4 leadership. And leadership, when that falls, that's what caused the men to rout. So as you can see, we didn't take them all out, but we scared them away. Or we can take on the captives, force these troops to change their legions, and allow them to serve in your army. And it will actually replenish our troops. So as you can see, if you take a look over here, and it may be kind of tiny, but take a look at their health bars. There'll be a little yellow part that is actually gaining. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to take them on so that we can replenish.
Pick up the pace!
Away. We got a +1,000 for that. Capture Grumberg. Where's Grumberg? Grumberg's there.
I am Prince and Emperor!
I'm going to get him into our land so that he's replenishing a little bit. I don't think I can do anything with that. Each lord has a skill tree that we can do. We can put him on a horse immediately, which you can see changes a little bit of his stats. Really increases his speed. No real big negatives by putting him on a warhorse. We can make him hard to hit, so he gets +5 melee. Character aura's leadership effect. So one thing that I forgot, and there's a lot of things that I've skipped over, but whenever your general, or in this particular case your lords, are on the battlefield, there will be a blue aura around them. That increases the leadership of the people around them, so they're likely to stay in the fight longer because they're fighting alongside their general. I'm just going to go ahead and put him on a... No, I'm not. I'm going to give him extra leadership. go ahead and get
In the name of Magnus.
2 more swords. One more sword and a couple of 3 companies. See how that goes. Now, if he's attacked, I think if he loses, he won't get that. He won't get these troops. We could also add a lord, so an archlector. What does the archlector do? He has battle prayers. He's also armored. He's a little tank. I'm not going to do that yet, just because I think that that's foolish to do just yet, because our income ain't great. Now, technology is connected to buildings for these guys, so we don't have to talk about technology right now. Offices, it doesn't matter at this point. Diplomacy, we're good. We're gonna end the turn. So at this point, obviously I want to go at a fast forwarding speed. All of these different places are fighting on the map right now by the AI. So we've got dwarves, these are men of Bretonia, men around us, the orcs, teeth stretches, beastmen. We're going through faster than my brain can remember all of the different clans. Empire Successionists. Okay. Oh, he zoomed by. Where'd he go? Either went to Helmgart or Isleheart.
Sigmar forbids this.
Hans Zintler. That's not who I just fought.
Summon the
Grumberg
Elector Counts.
is in my sights. So yeah, if you stay in your own place long enough, you do replenish your troops, which I like about this game, because it's not always the case in the other games. I think we besieged Grumberg. Do we know what Grumberg has? Grumberg's gonna have spears and swords. They don't even have any range.
What?
Oh, they're totally
Men,
screwed.
we must attack. Men, war calls.
So, this is the time where we can either choose to auto-resolve, or we can fight it on the battlefield. Now, if you fight on the battlefield, you're going to be fighting outside of the settlement, because unless the settlement has walls, you fight on the battlefield. You don't fight in the settlement itself in this game, which is kind of a bummer. Some of the older games, you fight in the settlement, and you can use some of the settlement's choke points to your advantage. You can't do that in this game. I could fight this, but I think it would be boring to watch, and so we're not going to, and I think it would be boring to play. So we're going to take a look at a couple of things, and we're going to auto-resolve it. So you can either encircle,
Raise your weapons.
which is just leave the siege go.
Into battle.
Now, if we did siege for 6 turns, the garrison would run out of supplies, and they'd start to suffer attrition. So they've got enough supplies to last them for 6 turns, which means they're going to stay at 100% strength. Now, once that 6 turns goes away, they're going to start losing men. The men are going to start dying because they don't have the supplies left in the city to live. So guys are going to start dying or abandoning their posts. So then if we assault in like 8 turns, they're going to be like half strength or 3/4 strength, something of that nature. Then if we wait 11 turns, they just surrender. They don't even fight. You don't lose a man. I'm not going to wait. I'm just going to auto-resolve it. Boink. It's going to be a decisive victory. Whenever you auto-resolve, you do take heavier losses. So that is something to remember, is you take heavier losses. We did gain a rank, though, which is nice. I'm going to very quickly hop out of this and put my silly into Do Not Disturb. We're back. Sorry about that. I put my Discord into Do Not Disturb so it stops dinking. So we did lose 82 men. They lost all 600. We captured 105 of them. So now we have the option to do something else. We can raise it so all buildings are destroyed and the settlement is torched. We can sack it. You do not capture the settlement, but instead steal wealth and damage buildings. All captives are enslaved. Public order is reduced, and the previous owners will like you a lot less. You can loot and occupy, which means that there's going to be a conquest penalty and a province instability. So this is going to be the province, and this is going to be the actual town. So they're going to be a lot more likely to up and out rebel against you. or we can just occupy it. And since I want Grumberg, and I don't want them to rebel against me, and looting it's simply not worth it for the gold. I mean, I like the 19% units repulsion. I'm just going to occupy it. I'm going to get that 1,000 treasury, and I have the Battle of Bloodpine Woods.
Your burgeoning realm grows, Your Eminence, yet many evils still abound in this world. The Empire remains divided, and marauding greenskins still threaten your lands. Further afield, there are rumors of a dark force rising in the east, spreading the taint of undeath. You must remain vigilant.
And yes, you zombie lovers, there are zombies. There are undead that we will more than likely end up having to fight. I like this. I like this a lot. Let's do it. So I'm just going to leave them to replenish. Going to add...
I am Franz. They will obey.
That. One more of the swords. Definitely not at a level that we can start to recruit units of renown or anything of that nature. So we're going to end the turn. So we've taken Grumberg. We've got Altdorf. So this may be something I'll decide later. I'll probably end up fast forwarding over this and then slowing down if anything important happens, because there are so many people on the field that it takes a second to go, and it's probably a little boring until we're watching something of interest. Like this, the Empire Successionists are raiding. So, raiding is annoying, because two things happen. They take gold from us, although they're only taking 18, so it's not a big deal. And they, oh, so income from all buildings. Oh, never mind. Don't listen to me. But they do take income from me, and they hurt my public order, which was already hurting because of the fact that I kind of conquered them. People don't appreciate when their rulers change like that. Real quick, I don't think that I've opened up any new trade routes between people who would... Oh yeah, I have. Styreland and Wissenland.
Approach us, friend, and make your offer.
Trade with me. Thank you. I like money.
So,
Hey,
Come then.
Wissenland.
Only Sigma's
Trade with
god,
me.
Ulrich.
affirmative.
I don't think I've had this many successful trades
I am the welcome.
when I've ever played
How
this game.
fair
Trade
I
with
shall.
me. I'm on a trading roll. Kislev. Hey, buddy.
You will drink
Trade with me.
us, Kislev.
Oh. Well, you know. So these people you can't trade because route to their capital cannot be established. You kind of have to border people in order to trade with them. I got a achievement. I told you I've never had this much luck with trading before. Ever when I've played the game.
Yes.
We're still replenishing. One more turn it would be replenished. But this
Bring me to my men.
cannot stand. So I'm going to pull him up.
I command
You still
here.
replenish, just not as much when you're not in a town. So if they choose to attack me, which I think would
Not
be
likely.
foolish. Oh, this is Helmet. Helmet. What a coward. Couldn't hold his line against me. Knows Grumberg is lost. Abandons those 600 men in Grumberg to fight to the death. Is this an M or an N? I think it's an N. Oh, I'm dumb. Grunberg. My bad. And then runs, and then comes back and starts raiding the land that was his. That ain't gonna stand. So, this is where we're gonna end the part. I'm actually gonna end the turn in between videos, but this is where we're gonna go ahead and end the part. In the next video, there'll be a lot less explaining, more strategying, so to speak. But hopefully we have kind of explained to you what's going on, while still making it slightly enjoyable to watch. So until next time, guys, Jake Hardy.